Good morning to you,
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Man, can you imagine the reaction this book would have gotten? I will listen to a lot of sports radio and watch a lot of ESPN, and it's been pretty harsh.
It has. You know, to some degree, though, it doesn't really surprise me. I mean, you got to remember, I've spent years processing a lot of these mistakes in my life, and it'd be hard for somebody to put it in context over a headline. You know, it's a body of work which happens to be my life. It was a portion of 1997, but at the end of the day, the anger or disappointment, I've turned that on myself for a lot of years.
It's interesting, though, because when people write their autobiographies, sometimes you want it to sort of be, you want to gloss over the worst of it, and you want it to be almost like a lesson. You know, people can learn from your experience, draw inspiration. But you were just brutally honest in this book about so many things, your ups and your downs. Did you debate it within yourself when you thought, I'm going to put pen to paper and write this, about just how much you were going to tell the world?
Well, it wasn't an option. You know, it wasn't an option. The alternative I didn't consider because, you know the stories of your life. Everybody has all these stories about their life, but what is your actual story? What is your message? And I always felt like my story was pretty inspirational to people who knew parts of it. You know, I felt 141 in the world. I came back to #1, but the truth is I climbed Mount Everest, but I was starting at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, and I think there's some real power in it. And if my experiences can help those people who wake up in a life that they didn't choose for themselves, or wake up in a life that they find themselves in, people that wake up in a marriage that they don't want to be in, kids that, you know, are looking to find a way and make sense, adults labeling them, and, you know, if I can help somebody avoid those pitfalls or get through some of that or give them the tools to move on with their lives, I'd consider it a huge success.
You know, of course, the book is called Open. I don't think anybody who's reading it or has read it, looked at it, has any question. You've been quite open in this book. But a lot of the criticism has been you should have been open back then.
Sure.
Why did you not, once you failed that drug test?
Yeah.
Why didn't you come out and tell people then and own up to it versus now in a book that some say that thing has gotten a lot of headlines, people are interested, and you're going to sell a lot of books for it. Why not then?
Because I was ashamed, to put it bluntly. I didn't know what to do. You know, it was a time in my life that I had no one to turn to and confide in at the time. Nobody knew about this, even in my personal life. And like most people in life, one mistake tends to lead to other mistakes. But from that day moving forward, I feel like my life was an atonement for it, because I said to myself, you know, how many people really get a second chance? And that second chance, I've lived with a pretty heavy weight as a result, and it was never something I could come out with in a press release. It's nothing that anybody could understand in an article. It's taken me 400 pages to take somebody through the journey and the context of my life. I lied because I was ashamed, and I tried to figure out what I'm going to do about it every day from then.
Another interesting and fascinating admission in the book is about whether or not you even really like tennis at all. I mean, you talked about how this was sort of forced upon you. Your dad wanted you to succeed.
Yeah.
It was not an option. It was his single-minded purpose, not yours, even at a very young age. And you write, I hate tennis, hate it with all my heart, and still keep playing, keep hitting all morning, all afternoon, because I have no choice. What was that like for you, not necessarily choosing what became your career and what you were known for?
Well, you know, and that contradiction between what I want to do and what I have to do felt like the core of my life as a little boy. I always played for other reasons. You know, early I played for my father through a lot of just straight, fear, not fear of abuse, but just fear of letting somebody down that really wanted this for the family, wanted this for me. Then I go to this academy, which I kind of refer to as a glorified prison, and I find myself trying to succeed to get out of there, rebelling in many ways, but the way out is to win. And then all of a sudden I'm on the world stage carrying out my teenage rebellions in front of the world. And I just always kind of felt trapped by tennis. And it wasn't until I was 27 years old, 141 in the world, and I literally said, I have no reason to play anymore. I can quit, I can move on. And I said, but you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose it. For the first time in my life, I'm going to choose my life. And that started a trend for me that led me to my school that I built, and all of a sudden I'm playing for a team back home that I'm connected to, but still much larger to me. All of a sudden tennis gave me my wife, you know. And
Steffi Graf, for people that don't know, and you have two beautiful kids together.
And I felt the scales of that being balanced. All of a sudden the price came with some good. And so I don't have a love-hate relationship with tennis. I have a hate-love relationship with tennis.
Did tennis, the USTA back then, do you think they had an interest as well in making sure some of this stuff didn't come out? Were there ever those discussions, quite frankly, that you know of, talking to you about keeping this quiet, because you were at the time certainly a golden boy of tennis. How much damage would it have done to come out then versus it coming out now? People think still now this hurts the game of tennis.
Yeah, you know, I wasn't privy to the backroom conversations or how it took place. What I do want to emphasize, though, we're talking about 1997. We're talking about a pre-era of the sensationalizing of any sorts of drugs in sports, but certainly recreational ones.
Yeah.
And in 1999, I mean, tennis has always been the pioneer in the testing. We never had to have it, but we did in 1997, but it was in-house. In 1999, we reached out to WADA and said, listen, we need a more comprehensive, sophisticated approach to protect the integrity of our sport, and you know, WADA handles the Olympic athletes, and since that day in 1999 that WADA came on, 2 years later, I've been tested 150 times. You're talking about 20 urine samples, 12 blood samples, out of competition testing. The lengths that the players and my peers of tennis go to protect that integrity, I think is really unmatched in sports.
I have to ask you a question about your hair, because it's what you were also known for, were having this long hair, and you say that that was part of the facade, that you actually started losing your hair as a teenager, right, when you were 17 years old. Why did you think, I have to wear a hairpiece, I have to keep up this image?
Well, two reasons. First of all, I watched my brother lose his hair, and for anybody that's lost their hair as a teenager might identify with the panic and the emotional kind of reaction you have to it. It was pretty hard on him, so that left a mark on me. Now you add to that so much attention was given to my hair. You add to that so much of my image or the way people thought of me was my hair.
There we see that.
There we go. Those are the pictures I want to see. You know, and so I just flat out didn't know what to do. I mean, it's like I'm losing my hair, and I didn't know what it would mean to my business, to my career, to what people thought of me, and I didn't know what I thought of me, you know, so every time somebody had an opinion, it's just, you know, every time I expressed myself, you know, it was exploration, and it was treated as if it was truths, you know, and I didn't have that luxury of understanding myself till I was done with my career, and that's why I wanted to do this book.
Well, that's a good look. You should keep it. Always. I remember when you cut it. I was a bigger fan at that point. When you cut, that's a good look for you. It works. But we appreciate you being here. Good luck with the book. Really, good luck with it, and good luck down the road. I know you got a lot more probably criticism coming, but you seem to be taking it in stride and answering all those questions. So that's something to be said for that as well.
Well, I enjoy watching you guys every day. So thanks for what you do.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for coming by.